the Cleveland Cavaliers having a reunion, right? And we did a show because it was posted on the internet that one particular person didn't attend. And that person was, of course, Kyrie Irving. And it really started off with a series of posts from social media that I want to get into here. So one of them is from ESPN. And it said, and I'm going to put it up here for you guys. It says, Team Swish, missing none. He was invited and ghosted all of us. Stop with that BS. J.R. Smith seemingly addressed Kyrie Irving's notable absence from Cavs 2016 reunion, saying he ghosted them after he was invited, at King James and on Tristan Thompson and everybody else.
Then the 2016 Cavaliers got back together for a reunion, and almost everybody showed up. LeBron was there. Tristan Thompson was there. J.R. Smith was there. But the one man missing was the man who hit the biggest shot of the whole finals. Kyrie Irving was nowhere to be found. And when he finally said something, the single word he chose carried way more weight than people want to admit. Let's talk about it. Drop your take in the comments. Did Kyrie miss that 2016 reunion because he was honestly tied up, or because he had no interest in playing background character in another LeBron legacy celebration?
Day before yesterday, I believe it was day before yesterday, where we did a show on the Cleveland Cavaliers having a reunion, right? And we did a show because it was posted on the internet that one particular person didn't attend. And that person was, of course, Kyrie Irving. And it really started off with a series of posts from social media that I want to get into here. So one of them is from ESPN. And it said, and I'm going to put it up here for you guys. It says, Team Swish, missing none. He was invited and ghosted all of us. Stop with that BS. J.R. Smith seemingly addressed Kyrie Irving's notable absence from Cavs 2016 reunion, saying he ghosted them after he was invited, at King James and on Tristan Thompson and everybody else.
Let's start with the reunion.
Start with the reunion itself, because that is where all of this began. The 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers, the team that pulled off one of the greatest comebacks in NBA Finals history by erasing a 3-1 deficit against a 73-win Golden State team, got together, and the photos started making the rounds online. LeBron James was there. Tristan Thompson was there. J.R. Smith was there. Even guys who were not in the first batch, like Iman Shumpert and Matthew Dellavedova, eventually joined in later. By most accounts, nearly the whole championship group came through. But one face was missing, and it was not some deep bench guy who barely touched the floor. It was Kyrie Irving.
And then, of course, you see the photograph there of Kyrie Irving, not the photograph of Kyrie Irving essentially not being in attendance.
And that absence hit hard because Kyrie was not just another piece on that team. He hit the shot. The cold-blooded pull-up three over Stephen Curry with 53 seconds left in Game 7. The shot that sits at the center of why Cleveland even has that banner. And that guy did not show up. Then J.R. Smith addressed it directly. He said Kyrie was invited and ghosted everybody. According to J.R., LeBron reached out, Tristan reached out, other teammates reached out, and Kyrie still did not come. J.R. basically shut the door on the idea that Kyrie had been left out. He was included. He just chose not to be there. And that is what makes the absence so loud. The busy excuse does not really survive contact with reality. Kyrie is busy, sure. But busier than LeBron James? Come on. Both of them are high profile. Both of them have businesses. Both of them have family responsibilities. Both of them live packed lives. If LeBron could make time for that reunion, Kyrie could have too. Once the most in-demand figure in the room is there, the scheduling defense starts looking weak. When nearly everybody makes it and the one man who buried the biggest shot in franchise history does not, that stops feeling accidental. It starts feeling deliberate. Then Kyrie finally spoke.
He put up a photograph of the 2016 team, and then under it, he wrote, "All for one, one for all. We completed the mission together as brothers, and that's all that matters to me." And then he wrote something at the bottom. Now, it's interesting that he put "we," because if you let the media tell it, LeBron won this championship. If you let LeBron tell it, he became the GOAT after he won this championship.
He posted a photo of the 2016 team on Instagram, And under it, he wrote something that, if you know the backstory, hits in a very specific way. He wrote, "All for one for all. We completed the mission together as brothers, and that is all that matters to me." And the most important word in that entire post...
If you guys don't know the backstory to this chip, after they won it, there were reports that LeBron was trying to get Kyrie Irving traded for Chris Paul or Paul George. And then Kyrie Irving heard that and he was like, this is not no damn brotherhood. And he was very, very upset, according to the reports at the time. And that's when that whole falling apart kind of started. That's really when the media started turning on Kyrie Irving.
Now let's get into the backstory of why Kyrie and LeBron fell apart, because it explains the whole snub.
And the most important thing in that entire post was one tiny word: we. We completed the mission. Not he, not LeBron did it. We. That matters because of how that championship has been framed ever since. If you listen to the mainstream version of the story, LeBron won that title almost by himself. If you follow LeBron's own legacy argument, that ring became the crown jewel, the championship he points to as proof that he climbed the mountain in Cleveland and sealed his place in history. Then later, once the ring argument no longer helped him the same way, suddenly ring culture became weird. Funny how that works. Rings matter when they strengthen the case. Then they get downplayed when the conversation shifts. So when Kyrie quietly drops a "we," that is not meaningless wording. That is a pushback. That is him rejecting the idea that 2016 was some one-man coronation. And once you understand the history behind the split, the snub starts making much more sense. After the championship, reports surfaced that LeBron had interest in seeing Kyrie moved for Chris Paul or Paul George. Kyrie allegedly heard those reports and took it exactly the way most people would. If the guy you just won a title with is discussing moving you after all the talk about brotherhood, then maybe that brotherhood was not what it was sold as. According to reports from that time, Kyrie was deeply bothered by that. That is when the crack really started widening. Then came the media framing. Remember how Kyrie was treated once he wanted out? There were interviews where the questions themselves felt loaded. Did you tell LeBron? Did you warn him? Did you owe him a conversation first? As if Kyrie wanting control over his own career somehow made him disloyal. Years later, we heard more about how Kyrie viewed the whole thing. He apparently saw it in a Shaq and Kobe kind of way. Not identical, but similar in principle. He wanted to prove he could lead, win, and build something without standing in LeBron's shadow. So he went to Boston, then Brooklyn, then Dallas. And through all of that, the public narrative often treated him as the difficult one, the ungrateful one, the guy who walked away from the king. But the deeper issue never really went away. Kyrie was central to that championship. He was not just some passenger. He was not a side piece to LeBron's story. He was 1B to LeBron's 1A. Not a role player, not some minor co-star. He was putting up huge scoring nights in the finals and hit the most important jumper of the series. Yet once the legacy machine kicked in, the story kept circling back to LeBron's chasedown block and LeBron's hero arc, while Kyrie's shot got treated like supporting material. Let's be honest, if LeBron had hit that Game 7 dagger instead of Kyrie, people would still be screaming about it every single day like it was the final proof that he passed Michael Jordan. But because Kyrie hit it, the moment got folded into LeBron's greatness instead of being fully celebrated on its own. And that is probably the piece Kyrie never made peace with. The politics of the whole thing, the narrative control, the way a shared championship became a one-man spotlight with everybody else playing supporting roles. So when that team reunion happened, a lot of people saw nostalgia. Kyrie may have seen something else. He may have seen a production where his role would once again be minimized while the broader LeBron story kept getting polished. And he decided he was not interested. Now, to be fair, nobody outside Kyrie's inner circle can say with total certainty what was in his head. Publicly, he said he was busy doing basketball camps around the world, working with young athletes, and that he felt his time was better spent there. Maybe that is the whole truth. It could be. But when you line up the trade reports, the fallout, the way the championship has been discussed for years, and Kyrie's own wording, it becomes hard not to read the reunion absence as something bigger than calendar conflict. It feels like somebody refusing to play a role in a story he believes has already been told unfairly. And that tracks with how Kyrie operates. Love him or hate him, he does not usually move like someone eager to perform for appearances. He is not exactly known for showing up just to keep the peace or make everyone comfortable. If he thinks something is fake, he tends to keep his distance. That does not mean everybody has to agree with him, but it does mean the snub feels consistent with the person people have watched for years. Now shift to the other major story, because this one is wild in a different way. Dave McMenamin reported that the Lakers are not planning to give LeBron anything close to a max deal. Not close, and somehow that shocked a lot of LeBron fans. Some of them, and even a few NBA voices, started acting like the Lakers would be disrespecting him if they did not back up the truck. But step back and really think about what we are talking about here. A 42-year-old player. 42. Why in the world would a front office trying to build a serious roster tie up around $50 million in a player at that age? This is not a sentimental question. It is a basketball and business question. And in the real world, the answer is obvious. You cannot hand that kind of money to a 42-year-old and act like it is just normal team building. That is how you trap yourself. It is not like LeBron was clearly playing at an all-NBA level last season in a way that made the decision impossible. So why would the Lakers commit to a giant deal when they could spread resources toward younger players and create more flexibility around the roster? But in LeBron fan logic, the whole thing gets twisted. Suddenly people start acting like the organization owes the billionaire icon every dollar possible, and everybody else should just move around him. It becomes less about what helps the Lakers win and more about whether LeBron feels respected. And that brings Austin Reaves right into the center of this conversation. There was a report from Sam Amick of The Athletic, discussed on the Run It Back show, suggesting that an Austin Reaves max-type number could be the very thing that pushes LeBron toward the exit. Amick was asked how likely it is that both Reaves and LeBron are Lakers next season. His answer was not fully dismissive, but it definitely was not airtight confidence either. He essentially indicated that the Reaves side feels much more likely to get done, while the LeBron piece becomes more complicated because the Lakers still have to improve, not just stay the same. And that is the key part. Re-signing LeBron, Reaves, and Rui Hachimura might keep the roster recognizable, but it does not necessarily make it better. It just keeps the current picture intact. According to Amick's read, the messaging from the Lakers side sounded like this: "We want to keep guys, but not at numbers that become self-destructive." And once that gets translated into LeBron terms, the tension becomes clear. If Reaves gets paid what it takes to keep him, then there may not be enough left for LeBron to feel respected by the number. And if LeBron does not feel respected, then maybe that opens the door to another move, maybe even up the coast to Golden State, which has already been floated. Now yes, technically the Lakers can exceed the cap because of bird rights and all the usual mechanisms. But this new apron era punishes teams that load too much money into too few players without room to build around them. You can have stars. What you cannot do is clog the entire salary structure and still expect flexibility, depth, and real roster balance. That is the problem. On paper, certain deals can exist. In practice, they can choke your ability to improve. So if the Lakers are drawing a line and refusing to go near the max, that may actually be the first sign in a while that the front office is trying to act like a serious front office. Because let's be honest, if they just run this whole thing back with the same basic structure, everybody already knows the movie. There will be stretches where they look good. The usual TV voices will start talking themselves into a run. And then the playoffs hit, reality arrives, and the flaws get exposed. Same cycle all over again. If you are the Lakers and you are trying to think like an organization instead of a fan club, the priorities are pretty clear. You build around Luka Doncic, who obviously gets his number. You take care of Austin Reaves because even if the fit changes later, a properly valued Reaves still has real trade value. Then you figure out the most responsible number you can give LeBron without strangling the rest of the roster. And after that, you use your remaining tools to get younger, more athletic, and more future-oriented. Because this part matters too. If you overpay LeBron, you kill flexibility, and you likely kill trade value. A 42-year-old on a monster deal is not some easy asset to move later if the team needs a reset. That contract becomes a weight. And the whole respect angle, the idea that LeBron has to feel honored by the number, sounds ridiculous once you strip the emotion out of it. Respect for a career and smart cap management are not the same thing. A front office can honor what you were without sabotaging what it still wants to become. That reality applies everywhere. Aging legends are aging legends. It happens in basketball. in soccer, in every major sport. At some point, the business decision and the emotional decision stop being the same decision. Serious organizations understand that, and when you put these two stories side by side, the picture gets really interesting. On one side, the player who hit the biggest shot of LeBron's most famous championship does not even show up to the reunion, then quietly emphasizes, "we," as a correction to the one-man mythology. On the other side, the Lakers appear unwilling to hand LeBron the kind of contract his camp might want, and the Reaves situation could complicate things even more. The legacy story is getting messier at the same time the leverage may be getting smaller. Kyrie skipping the reunion and the Lakers getting cautious with the money are not the same issue, but they rhyme. In both cases, you have people and organizations showing less interest in bending themselves around the LeBron narrative the way they might have in the past. Kyrie does not seem interested in being a prop. The Lakers do not seem interested in pretending sentiment should override roster logic. And both of those choices, separate as they are, hint at the same thing. The automatic protection around LeBron's story may not be as strong as it used to be. Whether Kyrie truly was just busy or making a statement, whether the Lakers are being wise or cold, the through line feels similar. The era where everybody automatically adjusts their behavior to help maintain the LeBron story might be coming to an end. A missing face at a reunion and a contract number that may never arrive are two very different signals, but they point in the same direction. Kyrie skipped the reunion, posted the photo, and made sure to say, "We completed the mission," not he. And at the same time, the Lakers are signaling there will be no automatic max for LeBron, while the Austin Reaves situation may tighten the squeeze even more. The image is starting to crack from both sides.